From New York to LA to Chicago to even small towns like mine, sushi has become a popular cuisine within the United States and has been for many years. Sit down, takeout, even sorts of fast food versions have popped up across the country. It seems that everyone is consuming sushi in America. But is that California roll, those spicy tuna, or that deep-fried tempura you eat every Friday night really sushi? Or is it some kind of Americanized version, like many other popular cuisines within the U.S. today? Where did sushi really come from? And how was it really made throughout history? In today's documentary, we will discover the answers to these questions and more as I present my findings in the true origins of sushi. My first step in answering these questions and working to discover more about this popular cuisine was to delve into sushi's long and rich history. The earliest form of sushi was introduced many years ago, in 9th century Asia. One may be surprised to learn, as I was, that although sushi is a staple within Japanese culture, its original roots may have been actually planted in China. In its earliest forms, sushi underwent a fermentation process, often with rice and vinegar, to prevent the fish from spoiling in the days without refrigeration. This fermentation process was quickened with new technology over time, which brings us to modern day, when most sushi completely abandons the traditional fermentation process. However, sushi chefs today still use similar methods to create sushi rolls as we know them. The use of the bamboo mat to create the sushi roll was common throughout history and is still regular practice in sushi restaurants across the nation today. In sushi's earliest of days, Buddhism was on the rise within the region and likely also contributed to the dish's significant history. Buddhists are known to practice the ethical doctrine of ahimsa, which promotes lack of harm in living things. Due to this, many Buddhists are known to be vegetarian, but some have permitted the eating of fish, therefore eating sushi in historic times. For the next step in my research, I visited my favorite local sushi joint, Shima's. This is Shima here, owner and head sushi chef. Shima has been in the sushi business for over 40 years and explained that making sushi is his hobby as opposed to a job. He truly loves what he does. Shima gave me the opportunity to come back behind the counter and see how sushi is made in his restaurant. This machine here is an automatic sushi rice sheet machine. It spits out the rice in a nearly perfect rectangle, quickening the steps to creating a sushi roll, like the California roll he is making now. As I watched Shima quickly create the basic California roll, I thought back to the original roots of sushi. The fish being used in this roll is simply imitation crab, very different from the fermented fish one may have eaten with rice in the 9th century. I was also surprised to see the new technology that was being used to create the rolls. I had never heard of the sushi rice sheet machine before, and also noticed that the mat for rolling the sushi was plastic as opposed to the traditional bamboo. However, the technique does remain the same. To further expand my knowledge on sushi, I decided to go out and purchase ingredients to make sushi rolls at home for myself. Most grocery stores will carry the ingredients needed to make the basic sushi rolls like the ones I created. To make the rolls, you will need sushi rice, which is often referred to as jasmine rice. You will also need nori seaweed sheets, your desired fish, and other ingredients to fill the sushi. I chose to purchase imitation crab meat, smoked salmon, in addition to avocado, cucumber, and cream cheese. The first step in making sushi rolls is to cook the rice. Cooking sushi rice is slightly different, as you must be sure to use the correct amount of water and avoid overcooking, which will make the rice too sticky. Next, I cut up the ingredients in long pieces to put within my sushi roll. Once the rice had cooled, I mixed a bit of sesame seed oil and began covering my nori sheet with rice. Unlike at Shima's, I did not have a rice machine to make my sticky rice fit in a perfect rectangle, so I simply used a wooden spoon to cover the nori sheet, leaving a small gap at the top of the nori. After I finished covering the nori with rice, I placed my ingredients in a narrow line in the middle of the nori sheet and began rolling with my bamboo mat, which I purchased on Amazon. The last step in making my sushi at home was to cut the sushi rolls into bite-sized pieces. I simply used a sharp knife to cut the rolls into approximately 1-inch thick sushi rolls. And it was ready to serve and eat. My brother boosted my ego, letting me know how much he loved my sushi. I must admit, it was quite delicious, but I still favor Shima's over my own. As my research and participation for this project came to an end, I realized several things about modern-day sushi in America. Simply put, it is not the same as it was in historic Asia. Fermentation of fish rarely occurs in sushi restaurants today. With new technology and also a new crowd of sushi lovers here in the US, sushi chefs have been experimenting new and less authentic rolls. I recently was even served a roll with flaming cheese on top. To keep up with trends, sushi restaurants in the US are turning to newer and more unique methods. But there are still many traditional aspects still kept intact in many sushi joints today. Participating in this project and making this documentary allowed me to better understand and also better appreciate this food I love so much. Sushi is more than just a simple dish. It is truly an art form with a rich and interesting history. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to immerse myself in Japanese culture and learn more about the true origins of sushi.